y'all, it is my honor to introduce a true progressive who has always stood up for our democracy. You know, y'all, it takes a little bit of time in office to become effective, usually. But this gentleman, Representative Casar, has become the chair of the Congressional Progressive Caucus in just his second term up in D.C. He's fought to protect civil rights, voting rights, restore abortion rights, to expand worker protections and make health care more accessible. And right here in Hays County, he has delivered results for our community. He secured $500,000 for Texas State University's Meadow Center to study how climate change impacts water quality. He delivered $1 million for the City of Kyle's Reclaimed Water Master Plan, conserving water right here. He also helped secure funding for the Hays County Food Bank's new building so that we could tackle food insecurity and support some of our neediest community members. And near and dear to my heart, Representative Casar has been consistent at helping energize less likely voters and our students in particular, bringing Bernie Sanders not once but twice to Texas State University to energize our younger communities. So with that, guests, please join me in welcoming a true progression champion, the man carrying the torch for Central Texas, Representative Greg Casar.
Good evening, Hays County Democrats. Let's hear it one more time for your representative, Aaron Zwiener. Aaron and I were together right before the quorum break, and I got to share with her the story that people were saying it was a bluff that California or Gavin Newsom would strike back, that there was no way that we would have a quorum break, that Greg Abbott and Trump were going to have their way quietly in the night with this redistricting plan. And thanks to your support of getting rid of a Republican and getting us Aaron Zwiener, the course of history in this country has changed. So give it up for Aaron and for all of you guys. Thank you all very, very much. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm so damn proud to get to represent Hays County in the United States Congress. And no matter what they do, we're going to fight them in the courts. We're going to keep this fight going across the country. And no matter where they put me, I will always be Hays County's congressman. Every single one of y'all can always call me, no matter what. And tonight we mark the legacy of a great leader, a great Texan, LBJ. Certainly a complicated man, but left behind a legacy that speaks to all of us and that I have learned so much from. If we think about it, just in a few short years, he passed Head Start because every child should have the same chance to learn, no matter how much money you've got or where you come from. Medicaid and Medicare because every single American should be able to go see the doctor without checking your bank account first. And the Voting Rights Act because every American, regardless of color, should be able to choose your representatives rather than having politicians choose your leader for you. But 55 years after leaving office, Republicans are trying to take us backwards and undo that entire legacy. Donald Trump and Elon Musk are slashing funding for Johnson's Head Start to pay for billionaire tax cuts, shutting down programs for our kids in the name of quote-unquote government efficiency. That's not right. Every single Republican in Congress just voted for the biggest cut to Medicaid and to Medicare in American history. And every single Republican from Texas voted for that, and that's not right. And now they want to make sure that they never get held accountable for it. And so they're going for Johnson's greatest legacy, the Voting Rights Act of 1965. They want to take us pre-1965 on Head Start, pre-1965 on health care, and pre-1965 on voting rights. And I know that here in Hays County and across Texas, we say, hell no, we're not going back. We are not going back. Just recently, I got to go to Selma and cross the Edmund Pettus Bridge. And I got to walk across that bridge where the march was from Selma to Montgomery alongside some folks, including an older lady who was there the very first time alongside Dr. King and John Lewis. And as we started the march, I'll never forget this, I said to her, "It's such an honor to be here for the 58th anniversary of the march." And she said, "No, honey, this is just the 58th time I've had to do this." She said, "It's up to us to march again and again and again and again to protect that legacy and to form a more perfect union." And the question is now before us as we face this Trump gerrymandering, this tyranny, this lawlessness, whether we will be the ones that get pushed back off of that bridge by the dogs and by the troopers and by the hoses, or like the people who came before us, we will march again and again and again and again until our rights are secured. Because Dr. King and John Lewis weren't made of gold. They weren't different than any one of us. They were made of dust and clay, just like the folks here in this room. And they faced their own Donald Trumps and Ken Paxtons. But I do believe we have the most corrupt president in American history. I believe Ken Paxton is the most corrupt politician in Texas history. And this redistricting plan is the most corrupt attempt at avoiding accountability I've ever seen. But no matter what, we're going to organize, we're going to fight back, and they are never going to silence Hays County Democrats. And I think that's actually the real lesson behind Johnson's legacy. Those accomplishments, Medicare, Medicaid, Head Start, the Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act, they're actually not the legacy of one man. President Johnson signed the Voting Rights Act, but its true authors were the people who marched across that bridge. President Johnson signed Medicare and Medicaid into law, but it was ordinary people, just like the folks here, who put the pen in his hand. LBJ was a great man, but history is not written by one man in the White House. It is written by we, the people. And we are not going to let one man in Washington define who we are for the next 4 years. And we damn well are not going to allow J.D. Vance to be president next. We damn well are not going to let Chip Roy be Attorney General of this state, right? Am I right? Hell no. And we're the ones that could stop it. Because that's how things can be across this country, where the people lead and the politicians follow. We need a new kind of leadership, the kind that Chair Scudder just described, the kind that I know that John Hatch is helping build here with the Hays County Democratic Party, where we inspire people to turn out and vote in ways that we have never seen in our lifetimes. And that means we're going to need to use a new playbook, not the same way that folks have been doing this in DC over and over and over again, expecting different results. Because we got to survive 3 more years of Trump, and I'm not going to, as Dixie just said, hell no to 4 years of J.D. Vance or anybody else. That means we need to recognize that it is right now the billionaires against everybody else, and it's time to organize everyone else. That's why right here at this facility, we held that accountability town hall against Chip Roy, and I've gone and done that in 8 more Republican districts, and we've got 8 more to go after that, and 8 more to go after that until we claim a majority. And once we send the Greg Abbotts and the Chip Roys and the Ken Paxtons to the dustbin of electoral history where they belong, it's time for us to build a different kind of democratic politics than we've had in the past. The kind that does not leave working people behind, something that folks don't love me saying in DC, but I say it over and over again. A kind that gets big money out of politics once and for all, bans these super PACs, ends Citizens United, no more corporate PAC money, no more stock trading by politicians. And then let's have the Elon Musks of the world pay into Social Security the same rate that a custodian does, pull every senior in this country out of poverty for good, make sure young people don't have to take money out of their paycheck to support their parents who've worked their entire lives. And maybe after that, instead of blaming women and immigrants and queer Texans for our problems, maybe we expand people's rights. Make sure there's a pathway to citizenship for our immigrant brothers and sisters. Restore the right to abortion care. Pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Act to make voting a basic right. And then expand those rights across our country and all over the world. Because we should have basic human rights if you're a child here in America or if you're a child being needlessly bombed in Gaza. Period. We need to make sure that we live up our values. That's what we can do if we stand together, if we organize together, if we remember that LBJ's legacy was actually a movement of people that first marched on March the 7th and had the dogs and the hoses pointed at them, they were turned back. Then marched again and had a judge order them turned back and an activist killed. And it wasn't until they marched the third time that they made it to Montgomery. And so we're gonna be on that march together, no matter where they stick me, no matter how they gerrymander, no matter who they intimidate, no matter who they threaten to throw out of office. Texas Democrats have shown what it looks like to fight like hell when our democracy is on the line. And folks should look to Hayes County to see how it's done. Onward to November. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Thank you all.
Please